श्री साई राम। सर्वांतर्यामी सर्वहृद वासिनी जगत जननी साई मांक पादपद्मरे आम समस्तंकर शतकोटी विनम्र प्रणाम। 46तम राज्य सम्मेलनी सत्यसाई सेवा संगठन ओडिशार प्रथम दिनर तृतीय तथा संध्य अधिवेशन को एठारे उपस्थित समस्त दिव्यात्मा मानक तरफ आमर प्रिय स्वामी को स्वागत जनाउछि। सत्यसाई सेवा संगठन ओडिशार पूज्य राज्य सभापति श्रीयुक्त नारायण प्रसाद सरभाईना, पूर्वतन राज्य सभापति हरे कृष्ण मौसा तथा ऑनलाइन माध्यम जोड़ी होइथिबा पी जगन्नाथ प्रसाद राव मौसा, संगठनर समस्त राज्य स्तरीय कोऑर्डिनेटर्स इंचार्जेस, समस्त जिला सभापति मौसा तथा ऑनलाइन और ऑफलाइन माध्यम रे एही 46तम राज्य सम्मेलन रे जोड़ी होइथिबा समस्त मौसा माउसी भाई भौणी तथा समस्त दिव्यात्मा माननको मोर सप्रेम साईराम। सहस्रेण सतेन च रीचिंग ए मिलियन हार्ट्स ई थीम को नहीं आमे ए राज्य सम्मेलन सकाळर इनागुरल सेशन पर आध्यात्मिक विभाग तथा शिक्षा विभाग आलोचना पैनल डिस्कशन विषय शुणी। सहस्रेण सतेन च एक्सपेंशन थॉट को नहीं जा किछि आमे भगवान का पाखरे समर्पण करूचंती तितिरे हमर विभिन्न विभाग भगवान का पाखरा जो समर्पण ताको कार्यकारी करिया पई हमर युवा विभाग, महिला विभाग, बाल विकास विभाग समस्त सतत चेष्टित। तेबे एथिरे हमर बाल विकास एवं युवा विभाग मध्य जो गोटे छोट ब्रिज रही जाइछि ताहा होछि हमर प्री सेवा दल। भगवान कर से दिव्य वाणी सहस्त्र हृदय रे पहुंचाइबा समय रे जो चिंताधारा हम मन भितरे आसे।
सर हेलो हेलो
हेलो
हाँ सर पिलांकर जॉइन करना कि हेलो पिला के जॉइन करना थी हेलो तो गोटे पिला जॉइन करला
हाँ जॉइन कला
प्रशांत टुडू प्रशांत टुडू
आज्ञा सर
हेलो
आज्ञा सर
ऐसे तुम पिला कोड़े गले हो
तो एबे जॉइन करली फोन
ये फोन करी को जॉइन करा सर लाइन में अछंती
आज्ञा आज्ञा
हेलो हेलो हेलो
हेलो ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ହଁ
हेलो
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍ ସାର୍ ଆରମ୍ଭ କରନ୍ତୁ
ଶୁଭା ଯାଉଛି ଶୁଭା ଯାଉଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ତ ମୁଁ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
କହିଲି
ସାର୍
ଶୁଭା ଯାଉଛି ତ ହଉ ଠିକ
ହଁ
ଅଛି
ସାର୍
ଆମେ ଲାଷ୍ଟ କ୍ଲାସରେ ପଢିଥିଲେ କାଷ୍ଟ ଆଣ୍ଡ କ୍ଲାସ ତାପରେ ନେକ୍ସଟ ୱାନ୍ ଇଜ ରେସ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଏଥନିସିଟି ରେସ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଏଥନିସିଟି The term racial groups and ethnicity are being used in a very confusing manner. We cannot easily differentiate race from ethnicity. Ethnicity and race both are closely associated with each other. Minor differences are between ethnicity and race. The term race refers to the genetically transmitted physical characteristics of different human groups. The term race refers to the genetically transmitted physical characteristics of different human groups. But the term ethnicity refers to culturally acquired differences. So, what are the culturally acquired differences that is recognized as ethnicity? And genetically transmitted physical characteristics of different human groups are known as race. ତେଣୁ ରେସ୍ ଆଉ ଏଥନିସିଟି ଭିତରେ ଏତିକି ଆମକୁ ଜାଣିବାର ଅଛି ଇଟ୍ସ ଏ ରେସ୍ ଇଜ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡସ୍ ଅପନ୍ ଦ ଫିଜିକାଲ କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟରିଷ୍ଟିକ୍ସ of the human groups. Ethnicity is depends upon the culturally acquired differences. What is socially socio-culturally differentiated, that is ethnicity, and physical characteristics of different human groups are known as race. So, race is not only the physical characteristics of different human groups, but also it is a creation of the society বা social creation. ଖାଲି ଆମେ ତାକୁ ବାୟୋଲୋଜିକାଲ ବା ଫିଜିକାଲ କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟରିଷ୍ଟିକ୍ସ ରେସ୍ କୁ କହିଦେଲେ ହବ ନାହିଁ, social approval ତା ଦରକାର. So how race is socially created and it is biologically originated. Race is not a biological concept only, it is also a type of social creation. Different anthropologists, they have defined the meaning of race. According to Houghton and Hunt, according to Houghton and Hunt, Horton, Houghton and Hunt, Hunt, Hunt. A race is a group of people. A race is a group of people somewhat different from other groups, somewhat different from other groups, in its combination of inherited physical characteristics. In its combination of inherited physical characteristics.
Sir, combination of inherited.
Combination of inherited physical characteristics. Physical characteristics, comma, but race is also substantially race is also substantially determined by popular social definition. Determined by popular social definition.
Again, sir.
The major threefold classification of race. Threefold classification of race. Three major races classified by the anthropologist are one ray, the Caucasian race, CAU, CAUCASOID, Caucasian race, which include most people of Europe, comma, the Middle East, and India as well. Second one is the Mongoloid race. MONGOLOID, Mongoloid race. Which include the Mongoloid race, which include most Japanese, Chinese, Nepalese, Koreans, and Vietnamese. Third one is the Negroid race. NEGROID, Negroid race, which included which included black African people, black African people, comma, the American Negroes, and their descendants, descendants, descendants মানে successors, দায়দ। ଏ ତିନିଟା ହେଲେ ମେଜର ରାସିଆଲ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଇନ ଦ ୱାର୍ଲଡ। ଗୋଟେ ହଉଛି କାକସାଇଡ୍ ରେସ୍, ଯୋଉଥିରେ ୟୁରୋପିଆନ ଲୋକ, ମିଡିଲ ଇଷ୍ଟ ଲୋକ, ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ ଲୋକମାନେ ଏଇ ରେସ୍ ଅନ୍ତର୍ଭୁକ୍ତ। ମଙ୍ଗୋଲଏଡ ରେସ୍ ରେ ଚାଇନିଜ, ଜାପାନିଜ, ନେପାଲିଜ, କୋରିଆନ୍ସ, ଭିଏତନାମା ଏଇ ଟାଇପ ର ଲୋକ ହଉଛନ୍ତି ମଙ୍ଗୋଲଏଡ ରେସ୍ ଭିତରେ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି। ନେଗ୍ରଏଡ ରେସ୍ ଭିତରେ ଆଫ୍ରିକାନ ଲୋକ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଆମେରିକାନ ର ନେଗ୍ରୋଜ ମାନେ ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି। ଦେନ୍ ତମର ଏଥନିକ ଗ୍ରୁପ। ଏଥନିକ ଗ୍ରୁପ କହିଲେ ଆମେ what do you mean by ethnicity বা ethnic group? According to Milton Gordon, Milton Gordon, Gordon, the word ethnicity comes from the Greek ethnos, ethnos, which mean people or nation. People or nation. Ethnicity is a sense of peoplehood or nationhood. Ethnicity is a sense of peoplehood or nationhood. The term ethnicity signifies the term ethnicity signifies cultural features which may include language, religion, national origin, dietary practices, dietary DIETARY, dietary. खाद्य शैली, dietary practices. A sense of common historical heritage. A sense of common historical heritage. Or other distinctive cultural traits. Or other distinctive cultural traits. According to David, David, David Popenoe, Popenoe, David Popenoe. According to David Popenoe, the ethnicity is defined as a group defined as a group that is socially differentiated, defined as a group that is socially differentiated socially differentiated has developed its own subculture, has developed its own subculture, has developed its own subculture and has a shared feeling of peoplehood, and has a shared feeling of peoplehood, shared feeling of peoplehood. So that is a very good definition given by David Popenoe regarding the meaning of ethnicity. Ethnicity means se kouchandi a group that is socially differentiated and develop its own subculture or ନିଜର culture and subculture ରହିଛି and shared feeling of peoplehood or nationhood. It has the responsibility, obligation towards the nation or group of people. Then we will see
Hello.
what are the difference between the race and ethnic group. Differences between the race and ethnic group. Race as a concept refers to physical characteristics. Race as a concept refers to physical characteristics. But ethnicity refers to cultural features. Ethnicity refers to cultural features. Second one is racial characteristics are mostly inherited. Racial characteristics are mostly inherited. But no ethnic group has any inborn cultural traits. Has no ethnic group has any inborn cultural traits. It acquires them. It acquires them from its environment. It acquires them from its environment. So these are the two most important differences between race and ethnicity. प्रथम है race as a concept refers to physical characteristics. Ethnicity refers to cultural features. Like last रे କହିଥିଲି language, religion, national origin एगुड़ाक हूँ cultural features. Racial characteristics second one is are mostly inherited. Racial characteristics रे कौन हुए ना जहाँ रही गोटे लोकर characteristics physical characteristics सेटा time to time again and again inherited from father to son, son to grandson. From generation to generation that is inherited. But cultural जो ethnicity group by ethnic group has no any inborn cultural traits. It is acquired from the environment or society. रेस रे होची इनबॉर्न क्वालिटीज इनहेरिटेड हबो फादर टू सन, सन टू ग्रैंडसन. किंतु एथनिसिटी रे देयर इज नो इनहेरिटेड क्वालिटीज. That is always learn from acquire from the environment and society. So these are the two most important differences between race and ethnicity. Then another part of your syllabus that is known as social mobility, another unity. तो मोर जहाँ कोर्स रे सिलेबस रे अछि तार वन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट कोर्स बा सिलेबस रे अछि that is known as social mobility. What do you mean by social mobility? Social mobility कहले हमें कौन बुझे? Mobility तमे जानी चाहो mobility means change. So social mobility कहले change in the position by status of an individual or group change in the status or position of an individual or groups is known as mobility, social mobility. So that social mobility, suppose you take the example, someone is a poor, but due to his source of income, due to his profession, due to something else, the status and position of that poor people becoming middle or rich after some years, that is known as the mobility. ଜଣେ ଲୋକର status ସେ ଗରିବ ଥିଲା, କିନ୍ତୁ ତାର ପିଲା ପାଠ ପଢିକିରି ଭଲ ଚାକିରି କରି ଦି ପଇସା ରୋଜଗାର କରିବା ଦ୍ୱାରା ତା ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି ଷ୍ଟାଟସ ରେ ହଉ ତାର ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲ ଷ୍ଟାଟସ ରେ ହଉ ଚେଞ୍ଜେସ୍ ଆସିଲା, that is known as social mobility. And that social mobility is defined by the sociologist in various ways. According to Wallace and Wallace, WALLAC, Wallace and Wallace. According to Wallace and Wallace, social mobility is the movement of a person or group from one social status to another, So that is a very good definition regarding the social mobility by Wallace and Wallace. Social mobility is the movement of a person or group from one social status to another. What I have already told you, ଜଣେ ଗରିବ ଥିଲା, କୌଣସି source of income ତାର change ହେବା ଦ୍ୱାରା ସେ ଧନୀ ହେଲା କି middle class ହେଲା, ଗୋଟେ status ଥିଲା ଗରିବ status, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ status କୁ ତାର movement ହେଲା, that is known as what? Social mobility. କିମ୍ବା ଜଣେ ଧନୀ ଲୋକ ମଧ୍ୟ due to misutilization of money and property, ତେଣୁ ମିସୟୁଟିଲାଇଜେସନ ଅଫ ମନି କିମ୍ବା ୱେଲ୍ଥ କରିକିରି ଜଣେ ଧନୀ ଲୋକ ମଧ୍ୟ କଣ ହଉଛି ନା ଗରିବ ହେଇଯାଉଛି, ତେଣୁ ଗରିବରୁ ଧନୀ କିମ୍ବା ଧନୀରୁ ଗରିବ, ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଷ୍ଟାଟସ ମଡିଫିକେସନ ବା ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହଉଛି, that is known as what? Social mobility. Then types of social mobility. Types of social mobility. P.A. Sorokin, Sorokin, has distinguished between two types of social mobility. Namely vertical social mobility, and horizontal social mobility. Vertical social mobility and horizontal social mobility. Vertical social mobility refers to the movement of an individual or group from one status to another. From one status to another. For example, movement of people from poor class to the middle class. Movement of people from poor class to the middle class. What do you mean by horizontal mobility? এটা ହେଲା vertical mobility. Vertical mobility ର ଅର୍ଥ ବୁଝୁଛ? vertical ଶବ୍ଦର ଅର୍ଥ ହଉଛି ଜୁଆର ଭଟା ଯାହା ଇଏ ସେୟା। ଯେକୌଣସି ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ହଉ କିମ୍ବା ଗ୍ରୁପ ହଉ ତଳୁ ଉପରକୁ ଉଠିବା, ଉପରୁ ତଳକୁ ଉଠିବା ହେଲା vertical mobility. horizontal mobility ହଉଛି ତାର just opposite. Horizontal mobility is a change in position. Horizontal mobility is a change in position without the change in status. Without the change in status. For example, an engineer working in a factory may resign his job and join another factory as an engineer. That means what I have already told you, horizontal mobility means without changing the status, only the position is changed. That is horizontal. ଜଣେ ଏକ୍ଜାମ୍ପଲ ଦେଲି, ଗୋଟେ କମ୍ପାନୀରେ ଜଣେ ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟର ଥିଲା, ସେ କମ୍ପାନୀ ଛାଡ଼ିଲା, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କମ୍ପାନୀରେ ଯାଇ ଜଏନ୍ କଲା ଆଜ୍ ଆନ୍ ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟର। ସୋ ଇଞ୍ଜିନିୟର ଷ୍ଟାଟସଟା ତାର ରହିଲା, ଖାଲି ପୋଜିସନଟା ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଲା, ଏ କମ୍ପାନୀରୁ ସେ କମ୍ପାନୀ ସେ ଗଲା। ତେଣୁ ଏଇ ପ୍ରକାରର ମୋବିଲିଟିକୁ ଆମେ କହିଥାଉ ହୋରାଇଜେଣ୍ଟାଲ ସୋସିଆଲ ମୋବିଲିଟି। जो वर्टिकल और होराइजेंटल सोशल मोबिलिटी अच्छी ता भितरे वर्टिकल सोशल मोबिलिटी has different forms. Vertical social mobility has different forms. What are they? कौन तार फॉर्म बा रूप अच्छी? अपवर्ड वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी, खाली लिखो अपवर्ड मोबिलिटी, अपवर्ड मोबिलिटी, डाउनवर्ड मोबिलिटी, डाउनवर्ड मोबिलिटी, intergenerational social mobility, intergenerational social mobility, intragenerational mobility, intragenerational mobility, एगुड़ा जते कहली all these are the different types or forms of vertical social mobility. गोटे होचे फर्स्ट टाइप्स होची तमरो अपवर्ड वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी. वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी कौन मु कहिची? चेंजेस इन द स्टेटस एंड पोजीशन फ्रॉम वन टू अनदर. वर्टिकल सोशल मोबिलिटी रे गोटे हूँ अपवर्ड मोबिलिटी आ गोटे हूँ डाउनवर्ड. अपवर्ड कौन ना जड़े गरीब थिला से धनी है, दैट इज अपवर्ड वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी. डाउनवर्ड वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी कौन तार जस्ट अपोजिट. जड़े धनी लोक कौन सी कारण से बिकमिंग द पुअर, दैट इज नोन एज डाउनवर्ड वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी. इंटरजेनरेशनल सोशल मोबिलिटी, इंटरजेनरेशनल सोशल मोबिलिटी कहले आम कौन बुझे ना इंटरजेनरेशनल मेन फादर ग्रैंडफादर, grandfather was very poor, but father due to his source of income becoming or maintaining the good status in the society. तेणु one generation to another, ग्रैंडफादर गरीब थिला तो फादर कौन है ना रोजगार कौन सी प्रकार बढ़ई से बर्तमान बिकमिंग रिच धनी है. तेणु गोटे पोजिशन रु आउ गोटे पोजिशन को जिबा जेनेरेशन वाइज इज नोन एज इंटर जेनेरेशनल सोशल मोबिलिटी. आउ होची इंट्राजेनरेशनल मोबिलिटी. इंट्राजेनरेशनल मोबिलिटी माने विदिन ए जेनेरेशन, within a generation what type of mobility occurring in the position of status. गोटे लोक माने तार निज स्थिति रे से he was a poor, but after some years due to his own attempt तार निजस्व चेष्टा बल रे से धनी हो जाउछ. That is known as intragenerational mobility. Within a generation what type of mobility are occurring, that is intragenerational mobility. तेणु वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी रो गोटे हूँ अपवर्ड वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी और डाउनवर्ड वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी अपवर्ड डाउनवर्ड इंटरजेनरेशनल इंट्राजेनरेशनल ये चारिटा हूँ वर्टिकल मोबिलिटी डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स नेक्स्ट को जीवा सोशल मोबिलिटी व्हाट आर द फैक्टर्स रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर सोशल मोबिलिटी सोशल मोबिलिटी टा सबु सोसाइटी रे एका प्रकार नुह को सोसाइटी रे सोशल मोबिलिटी टा अधिका होची को सोसाइटी रे सोशल मोबिलिटी टा कम होची why that is occurring why that is happening what are the factors responsible for that social mobility जते बेटर हबो सोसाइटी सेते आगु आगु बढ़िबो सोशल मोबिलिटी जदि तार मात्रा कमिबो सोशल माने लोक मानकर स्टेटस पोजीशन जदि ग्रेजुअली हायर रेट रे न हबो चेंजेस न हबो ताहले कोन हबो सोसाइटी आगु बढ़ी परिबो नाही so for the progress and development of the society social mobility among the people is very much required so ये जो social mobility पाई what are the factors responsible you write factors promote social mobility factors promote social mobility कौन फैक्टर्स सोशल मोबिलिटी को प्रमोट करिवारे सहाय्य करूछ the following important factors responsible for social mobility are one रहउची education second रहउची occupation third रहउची political institutions fourth रहउची family then next one is the windfall or the lock factor windfall or the lock factor LUCK lock भाग्य lock factor so
Hello?
all these are the important factors of social mobility
Hello?
first one is education so education the persons having the better education qualification The better education and qualification related with better source of income. ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକ ପାଖରେ ଯଦି ଭଲ ଶିକ୍ଷା ଅଛି, ଟ୍ୟାଲେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ଅଛି, ନଲେଜ ଅଛି, ସେ କ'ଣ କରିପାରିବ ନା ଭଲ ରୋଜଗାର କରିବାର ବାଟ ସେ ଖୋଜି ପାରିବ, ଯାହାଦ୍ୱାରା କି ତାର ଯାହା ଷ୍ଟାଟସ୍ ଅଛି ଷ୍ଟାଟସ୍ର ଚେଞ୍ଜେସ୍ ଆସିପାରିବ. ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ନୋନ୍ ଆଜ୍ ସୋସିଆଲ ମୋବିଲିଟି. So education is always responsible for social mobility in the society. ତାପରେ ଅକୁପେସନ, ତେଣୁ ମୋବିଲିଟି ପାଇଁ ସୋର୍ସ ଅଫ୍ ଇନକମ୍ ହେଲେ ସିନା ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକ ଷ୍ଟାଟସ୍ର ମଡିଫିକେସନ ବା ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହବ. ସୋ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ୱାଇ ଅକୁପେସନ of a person is very essential for the social mobility. Without occupation, social mobility of that individual cannot be possible. Occupation thile tar source of income बढ़िबो, तार मॉडिफिकेशन ऑफ द स्टेटस हबो, जहाको आमे कहउछे सोशल मोबिलिटी. यदि गोटे लोक बेकारी अछि, तार ऑक्युपेशन नाही, अनएम्प्लॉयड अछि, ताले तार स्टेटस रो मॉडिफिकेशन में चेंज हबो केमिति. तो स्टेटस मॉडिफिकेशन पई ऑक्युपेशन इज वेरी मच एसेंशियल. तापर पॉलिटिकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस. So political institutions are responsible for the social mobility of the individual members in the society. So जो countries रे politicians माने better way रे कार्य करंती, भलो पॉलिसी करिवे, भलो प्रोग्राम करिवे, भलो प्लान करिवे, लोक माने ता द्वारा बेनिफिटेड हेबे, by which the status of the individual can easily be changed from lower to higher. तेणु जोटी पॉलिटिकल इंस्टीट्यूशन गुड़ाक ठीक से फंक्शन करू नाही, सेटी सोशल मोबिलिटी एते जल्दी हेई परिवो नाही. जेमति कि आम देश भारत रे लोक मानकर स्टेटस रो परिवर्तन एते जल्दी हुए नहीं. इट विल टेक so many years. But in Western countries, the modification of the status is easily possible. एठी जेमते हमर भारत बळी देश रे लोक मानकर स्टेटस देखियो सहजरे परिवर्तन हुए नहीं. कोन पे ना लोक मान को जो फायदा मिलिया कथा, चाकरी मिलिया कथा, बिजनेस ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स रे एंगेज रहे कथा, अन्यान्य सुविधा मिलिवा कथा, सेगुडा सहजरे मिली न थाए. जोटा को बाहर कंट्रीज गुडा एडवांस कंट्रीज ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, सेठी कोन ना the people are getting the opportunity to change the status. Who is responsible for that? Political system by institutions. Then family. Family यदि न चाहिए, जोटी family is playing the important role for the modification of the status or position. Without the support of the family, a person cannot go ahead. आगु बढ़ी परिवो नहीं. So that's why family is an important factor for the social mobility. तापरे luck factor. Luck factor is also an important factor responsible for social mobility. ତମର ବହୁତ ସମୟରେ ଲୋକ ଧନୀ ଲୋକ ଗରିବ ହେଇଯାଉଛନ୍ତି। Why? Because someone is affected by severe disease. କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ଗୁରୁତର ରୋଗରେ ଆକ୍ରାନ୍ତ ହେଲା, ଯାହା ଦ୍ୱାରା ତାର ଯାହା ସୋର୍ସ ଅଫ ଇନକମ୍ ଥିଲା କି ସେଭିଙ୍ଗସ୍ ଥିଲା, ସବୁ ଗୁଡାକ ଖର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରିଦେଲା। ଦେନ୍ ତାର ଷ୍ଟାଟସ ହାଇ ରୁ ଲୋ କୁ ପଳେଇ ଆସିଲା। That is luck factor. And disease is someone is affected by disease, ରୋଗାଗ୍ରସ୍ତ ହବା, that is depends upon the luck. So that's why luck factor is also responsible for what? Na social mobility. So social mobility in a particular society depends upon these following important factors: education, occupation, political institution, family, and luck factor. All these are the important factors responsible for social mobility. ଠିକ ଅଛି, ତମ ଟାଇମ ହେଇଗଲା, ଆଜି ଏଠି ସାରିବା। ହ୍ୟାଲୋ,
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍।
ସରିଲା ତମର
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ।
କ୍ଲାସ, ପୁଣି ନେକ୍ସଟ କେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖାହବ ହେଲା।
ଆଜ୍ଞା।